since the lapse was again on my side, I think we'll have to repeat what has been done till now. Doesn't matter. We shall do it. So with our obeisances to Sri Sri Radha Govinda of the ISKCON Temple, Nantur, Mangalore, okay, and seeking the grace of our Acharya Guru Srila Prabhupada and the blessings of my Shiksha Guru Namanishra Das Prabhuji, will start the day session today. I think prayer, probably we have just gone through the prayer, so we'll just say our just Ajnanatimirandhya, I'll say that. Ajnanatimirandhya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmitan Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. With praying obeisances to our Guru, we have to start our lessons. Guru is very important in our life. Guru is actually God incarnate, God is in the as equal to God to us, because he takes us to God with the knowledge. So he's very important. So with the paying obeisance to our Guru, we'll start the lesson today. Now, a recap of the last chapter portion. The 6 questions where if you don't raise hands, probably I'll have to raise myself and answer. If you raise the hands, you can just, everything is on the screen, there's nothing that you have to struggle for. Any raised hand? I saw some 3 hands raised then.
Yes. Hare Krishna Mataji.
What is Prakriti?
Yes.
What is Prakriti? What is Purusha?
Yeah.
What is field? What is knower of the field? What is knowledge? And what is the object of knowledge?
Very good, Mataji. First you have to, very good. Kshetra, Kshetratnya, and Jnanam, Jneyam. Very good. Now 13.2 to 13.7. Who can read that? Anyone can volunteer. Yeah. Yeah, of the 3 participants, can you see the raised hands? Yeah. Aradhya Hota has also raised her hand. Okay. Jayashree Mataji?
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Mataji.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mataji.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah,
Yeah, from 13.2 to 13.7, Krishna
Yes.
answers the questions, the 3rd and 4th question, and the field of activities. That is the field of activities and the knower of the field.
Very good.
Kshetra and Kshetrajna.
Kshetratnya, very good. Now 13.8 to 13.12. Next raised hand.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Okay. You want to answer? You want to answer?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, answer. 3.8 to 3.12.
Krishna further answers to question 5, the process of knowledge and liberation. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So what is the point number 5? Can you tell me? What is point number 5, Aradhya? Put the first column. First column, what is 5?
5.
Jnanam. Is it not? It's not Jnanam here? Jnanam.
Yes.
And then he says about question number 5, the process of knowledge and liberation. Okay. Jnanam includes knowledge and the process of knowledge and liberation through knowledge. Okay. 13.13 to 19. Who will take this up? Huh? Next one. Next raised hand.
Mataji, can I take again?
Okay. Huh? Let us give chance to others also. No, beta. You take one more and then. Okay. This you take. This you take. Yes. Yeah.
Krishna further answered to question 6, the object of knowledge.
What is that called? What is object of knowledge called in Sanskrit?
Jneyam.
Very good. Very good. Now 13.20 to 26. 20 to 26. What are the questions there? No, repeated raised hands also will do. I think others cannot. If you're reading from the screen, I think you don't have to struggle
Vijay
much.
Mataji. Vijay Mataji has raised.
Vijay Mataji. Okay, Vijay. Yeah.
Prakriti and Purusha.
Yes, Mataji. Prakriti and Purusha. Okay. And then lastly, it's yeah. 13.27 to 35 is, what is that? Jnana Chakshusha. That is the eyes of the transcendental eyes, eyes of knowledge. We have two types of eyes in our with us. We have the physical eyes, the eyes with which we see the material world, and the vision of knowledge. It is the internal eyes which are not seeable, but they actually act. Okay, they give us wisdom. I have something to share with you about this particular Jnana Chakshusha. About this, a lot has been mentioned in the 13th chapter. The highlights I have just taken out. Now, what is seeing through transcendental eyes? Okay, what is that? Whatever is, what should we see really in the real sense? Whatever really seeing. If we see ourselves as a body and not the soul, we are saying the wrong thing. Okay, what should we see ourselves as? That we are the internal parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord, and the Lord is actually the super soul residing with the soul inside our heart. That is actual seeing. So seeing the truth is actual seeing. To see some falsehood, that is not seeing at all. It is actually illusion. Okay. So whatever is created is but a combination of the material living entity and material nature. There are two things, the living entity and material nature. Okay. Now the combination, product of that. See, when the living entity comes in contact with material nature, there will be creation. Okay. Now that I earlier also I told you that Karnaduka Sai Vishnu, the incarnation of Krishna, he glances over the material nature and he impregnates the nature with the living entities which actually grow there. So there are two things involved here. One is, who is Karnaduka Sai Vishnu? Krishna himself. That is the Lord. And the material nature is nothing but the Lord's external inferior energy. Okay. So when the two actually they combine, when the seeds are thrown, when you sow seed onto your fertile farm in farmland, what happens? The seeds, they germinate and you get plants. The same way, when they're living, when the Lord throws, he just glances over the material nature, living entities are impregnated and they actually grow. So that's what is mentioned here. Without the touch of superior nature, the living entity, nothing can grow. So unless the superior nature, that is Lord, okay, he impregnates the material nature, okay, with the seeds, the bija of the living entities, nothing can grow. There'll be nothing at all. That is, if you see that, that is truth. That is actually seeing. That is real seeing. That is Jnana Chakshusha. But actually, after the destruction of the body, what happens to the soul and the super soul? Do they also get destroyed? No. They actually leave the body in the form of a subtle body, and then they actually enter into another body. They get transmigrated, and they go on eternally in many various moving and non-moving forms. So moving is all the animals, non-moving are the trees. So they can go on transmigrating like that. If you're seeing this truth of nature, then you are really seeing. That is Jnana Drishti. Okay. Because of desires, one is put into difficult circumstances to suffer or enjoy. Is it not true? See, I told you last time, whatever we have got today and whatever we are getting tomorrow, that's not tomorrow, doesn't mean tomorrow itself, at the end of this lifetime, is what we are going to desire. So always desire good things. If you're seeing this, you should see that what I'm going to get in my next life is what I'm going to desire. Then according to my desire, God gives me what I want. And then obviously, once I get that, I have to suffer or enjoy. I say I want a very big car. Okay, God forbid. The car is beautiful. Maybe the best of the cars I get actually. Very covetous possession of mine. But then supposing there's an accident, I have to be prepared for that too. So suffer or enjoy, we have to get ready. When I say car, I have to happy. It can't be always a very smooth sailing affair with anything for that matter. So that's one. That if you're seeing that along with the enjoyment that you're going to get, there's a package of sorrow. It's actually a combo pack, then you are seeing. That is true seeing. It is called Jnana Drishti. When once, and that Jnana Drishti is possible only through Jnana Chakshusha. Otherwise, these physical eyes cannot see all that. Okay. When one sees that the various bodies of living entities arise due to the different desires of the individual soul and do not actually belong to the soul itself, one actually sees. So whatever we are getting, it is not what the soul desires, it's actually the body which wants, the material body desires. Of course, soul is a observer, okay? And super soul is a guider. It is actually, it guides it. But then it has nothing to do directly with it. Whatever you ask for, you're going to get, and you have to enjoy the consequences. Similarly, the living entity, even though situated in various bodies, it is in so many bodies, is aloof from them due to his subtle nature. It doesn't get mixed with it. Now, I'm so and so today in this lifetime, and so and so. My soul is, of course, within me. It's not attached to me. The moment the soul leaves my body, the body drops off, and then soul is again free to go. It will not be called as my soul. Mind, I've got a particular name in this lifetime. It won't be called as my soul, whatever XYZ person's soul. Okay, soul is a soul. It will enter another body, get another name, and become that person's soul. It keeps on changing. If you're seeing that truth, you are really seeing. This is Dhyana Drishti. Therefore, it is impossible to see with the material eyes how the living entity is in contact with this body. I told you last time in the last chapter that, see, the living entity is within the body, and that is a cause for our consciousness. Okay, but there is no contact really. There's nothing really to do. The living entity is spiritual, body is material. There's really no contact. But then without the soul, there are no symptoms of life in the body. That is a relationship. So without the soul, the body cannot function. And how he's put out of it after destruction of the body. Once the person dies, how the subtle body will lift itself up from the dead body. The body is lying there in the same form. It's the same exactly what you see. All the features. You have a subtle body that rises from the dead person, and that is a subtle body with the super soul, and intelligence. It will be there with it. Okay. Consciousness is the proof of the presence of the soul. If you're seeing that, what all I'm telling you now, if these are all truths, these are truths, universal truths, spiritual truths. If you're seeing all this, that means you've really understood what has been done till now. So consciousness is the proof of the presence of the soul. So if a person is conscious, is showing some actions, moving about and talking or whatever, that means soul is present. As sunshine or light is a proof of the presence of the sun. If there is sunshine, it means there is sun. Now right now it's very dark, we have got light, but that light is not of the sun. It is because of the bulb. So that is not due to sun. So if you know that truth, so sunshine is because of the sun. Okay, that truth is very important. You really have understood something the right way. Super soul situated in all the bodies as a friend of the individual soul is conscious of all the bodies. This is very important truth. The super soul is present in all the bodies, in the heart. My soul is within my body, your soul is within your body. Okay, my soul knows my body, your soul knows your body. And the super soul present in both of us knows both our bodies. Similarly, the super soul is present in all the bodies. So it knows the bodies of all the living entities. That's very important. This is what is actually meant by Dhyana Chakshusha. If you have a question on this, you have to answer it this way. Okay. Now with that, now we come to our session today, the 14th chapter. There are just 27 shlokas. I took a lot of time to explain certain things, certain very, very delicate, important things to you. We just have to do about 40 shlokas today. I'll try to do more today if possible. And if possible, let us try to Goloka Vrindavana chart, a bit of it tomorrow, not today. Then 15th chapter is much less. It's just 20 shlokas. So probably we can complete Goloka Vrindavana chart by next week. Okay, we start tomorrow. So 14.1 to 14.4, what does it deal with? The liberation and conditioning of the living entity. How is the living entity conditioned? We say condition, we are conditioned by the three modes of material nature. Now, what are these modes of material nature? Now, what is liberation? Now, supposing I'm entangled in the modes of material nature, I want to get liberated. How can I get liberated from that? There are certain things you have to follow. We'll be seeing what it is. 5 to 9 shlokas, description of the binding of the pure soul by the three modes. Why are we bound by the three modes of material nature? We are pure. We are transcendental. We are the parts and parcels of the inner spiritual energy of the Lord. And why are we contaminated by the three modes? And why is the Lord not contaminated with the three modes? We'll see why it is. And from 10 to 13, recognizing the supremacy of a mode within a person. So what sort of a mode does a person have? Okay. Well, let us see, does it go that way? Does it go that way? That a person has got a particular mode? Or does it mean that a same person can have all the modes and all the time or different times? We'll see how it is. Very interesting. I'll tell you what it is. In 14 to 18, actions and death within the modes. Now, what happens when a person dies in the mode of goodness? Where will he go? What happens to a person when he dies in the mode of passion? And what happens? What is the destination of a person who dies in the mode of ignorance? We shall see that. And 19 to 27, transcending the modes. How to get above all this? That's very important to do that. That's very absolutely important. So 14.1 to 4, the liberation and conditioning of the living entities. Okay. The first look I will take now. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Param Bhuya Pravakshami. Oh, Aradhya, you want to say the shloka? Aradhya?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, say the shloka. Yes.
Shri Bhagavan Param Bhuyah Pravakshyami Nanam Uttamam Yajnatva Munayah Sarve Param Siddhi Mito Gataha. Hare Krishna.
Very good, beta. Very good. Huh? The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, what did he say? Again, I shall declare to you, Arjuna, the supreme wisdom. What is this wisdom? This is excellent. It is wise things are being spoken here. The best of all knowledge, the best of all knowledges, knowing which all the sages have attained the supreme perfection. Here he is saying all the sages have attained perfection by knowing this knowledge. So that knowledge is going to describe to Arjuna now. Now, the 13th chapter, what did it tell us? It told us through knowledge, freedom from material entanglement, how to get it. That was told to us. Associating with the modes of nature, passion, goodness, and ignorance, living entity gets entangled in this material world. Now, we are entangled because of the entanglement with the modes of material nature. Okay. Now, why are these modes of material nature that bad, or why are they so binding? We'll see why it happens. In the 14th chapter, the Lord explains what are the points covered here. What the modes of nature are. We'll first understand what the three modes of nature are. And how they act. How do they act on a person? And how they bind. They actually bind us like the Triguna. Triguna means actually, guna means actually quality also. It also means rope. It means tying material. How they give liberation. How these modes give us, they liberate us also. Even that we are going to study. Lord says this knowledge is superior to the knowledge given so far. Very, very superior. It has helped various sages to attain perfection and get transferred to the spiritual world. The second shloka. Idam jnanam upashritya mama sadharmyam agataha sargepi nopajayante pralayena yatanti cha. By becoming fixed in this knowledge, the knowledge of the three modes, one can attain to the transcendental nature like my own. Lord tells Arjuna, if by chance you come to know about the knowledge, learn about the knowledge, not enough, that is just not enough. You have to transcend all that. It is go above all that. Then what will happen? You'll become like me, transcendental like me, because Lord is above all the three modes. He doesn't come under, he's not bound by any mode. Because in the case of the Lord, body and soul are one. There's nothing like a body, inferior body like ours. Our body is inferior, is it not? And our soul and body are different. But for the Lord, the body and soul are one. There's nothing different at all. Thus established, one is not born at the time of creation or disturbed at the time of dissolution. Such a person will have no births and deaths. There will be absolutely no contamination for him. No such repeated cycles of birth and death. On acquiring perfect transcendental knowledge, one attains qualitative equality with the Supreme Lord. Okay, So once we get transcendental knowledge, we become equal to God. In the sense only qualitatively, not quantitatively. He's Vibhu, we are Anu. Okay. Because why transcendental do we become? Because you're already transcendental. You're actually very pure. You are born out of the internal, spiritual, superior energy of the Lord. So you have to become, and that is already there. Again, what is this attaining the transcendental knowledge? Is actually dusting the contamination on our souls and becoming pure. We become transcendental, becomes liberated, free from the cycle of birth and death. Becoming transcendentalists, we don't have any more cycles of getting reborn and then dying and all that. But even the liberated souls, okay, let us say liberated, then do you think that the soul is going to merge with the Lord or become one with the Lord, go and sit with the Lord along with him on the throne? No, not like that. With even then, the liberated souls are the individual entities. They don't lose their identity. They remain as they are, but they're liberated. Okay, they don't lose their identity and always engage in transcendental, loving, devotional service to the Lord. They don't say, oh, after becoming, highly pure, transcendental, they don't go and tell Lord, oh, we are now same. I and you are equal. I'm going to be, I'm not par with you, not like that. Still, they're servitors. Why are they servitors? Because they're born out of the, manifested out of the internal energy of the Lord. They're not whole thing. They're just a part of his whole energy, internal spiritual energy. So this actually, they are still, engaging in, they're at the feet of the Lord. They're actually serving him. Knowledge obtained in the material world is contaminated by the three modes of material nature. Why? Because the material nature itself is contaminated. It's inferior. Now, why are the modes contaminating? Because now they are present in nature, and nature itself is inferior because it is manifested out of the Lord's external inferior energy. So obviously, as soon as we come in contact with that created, again, the same example I keep on telling you, the baby is born from the mother's womb. It's very, very, it's sanctum. It's a very sacred place when it is in the mother's womb. On coming out, it gets contaminated, and all sneezing and coughing and all the material things start with it. But the same thing happens to us also. Knowledge not contaminated by the three modes of nature is transcendental knowledge. Okay, so if you transcend these, what is transcending? All that I'll tell you. It's a very interesting chapter. Let's go understand very carefully. You're transcending that is actually becoming liberated. In transcendental knowledge, one is on the same platform as the Lord. Obviously, the ignorant feel, that is the foolish people, the less intelligent people feel spiritual world lacks the variety of material world. They think, what is the use of all this liberation? What is the transcending and all that? What is that going to the Golaka Vrindavana? See, so nice here, so many malls here, so many movies here, colorful dresses are there here. The world is so colorful, material world is so colorful. What go there? It's so dull there. Not at all. They're very wrong. They're ignorant. It is much, much, much more colorful than here. And you know that there is no need of light there, electricity there, no moon there, no stars there. Still effulgent. It is so bright because of Lord's effulgence. Lord is there. The effulgence of Lord. It lights the whole Golaka Vrindavana. And the people there are all spiritual people. They're so always young, always beautiful with all Lord's opulences, always agile, active, no envy, no hunger, no sleep, nothing, always working, always happy. Such a heavenly place. How do you say it is no? It is doesn't have variety. That's what ignorant people feel, but it's absolutely false. It's much, much, much more beautiful than our material world. Here there is life and there's birth and death. There's no birth there, no death there. No getting born because no death at all. They eternally live there. Actually, in spiritual existence, one has a spiritual form. You become spiritual there, perform spiritual activities. These activities are not like, you go to office, then you earn something, you eat, cook your food. That's not like the spiritual activities, all related to Almighty, serving him, cooking food for him, decorating him, singing for him, dancing for him, playing with him. How nice, okay? Called devotional service. The spiritual atmosphere is absolutely uncontaminated because no modes there, no material nature there, no modes there, so uncontaminated. To obtain this knowledge, one must develop spiritual qualities. See, ignorant man can't understand all this. Only those who are like you people sitting here, devotional people, devotees, who are listening so intently to knowledge, this is spiritual quality. This is required, by which he is not affected by the creation or destruction of the material world. If you don't have spiritual qualities, you can't even imagine to attain get that idea. Now this is actually, this we finished. Now, the total, I have to read shloka. Mama,
Mataji.
you want to read?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, read. Can you see it? Yeah.
Mama yonir mahat brahma tasmir garbham dadhamyaham sambhavaha sarvabhutanam tato bhavati bharata.
Very good, very nice. The total material substance called Brahman. Now, what is Brahman? I've told you enough. It is non-changing. What doesn't change is Brahman. The total material substance is called Mahatattva. Okay, it is a material substance. It's actually called as, once again, please. Excuse me. It's a source of birth. It is that what his Lord is going to impregnate with the seed, bijas, the seeds of living entities. It's a source of birth, as the mother is the source of the birth of a child. And it is that Brahman that I impregnate. So it is the Mahatattva, that is the material nature, that actually that is where he throws the seeds of living entities, making possible the births of all living beings, O son of Bharata. Okay, now that's what he says. And this is this actually we have known this. Just image for your image sake. This is what Krishna is telling Arjuna. This knowledge you already know. To attain liberation and transcendental nature like Krishna is one reason why we have to understand this chapter. Secondly, knowing which all the sages have got attained actually perfect, supreme perfection. Everything that takes place in the world is due to the combination of Kshetra and Kshetrajna. That is body and the knower of the body. Now here, see, even when you say material nature is the body, the Kshetra, that is a Kshetra, is it not? Like the playground is it's a Kshetra for playing. Now here, a material nature is a playground, it's the Kshetra for the birth of the living entities. Kshetra, Kshetrajna, knower, spirit soul. Now, and that is brought about by the Supreme Lord. So all that is, so ultimately at the helm of all the activities, Supreme Lord is there. Okay, but then it is combination of the body and the knower of the body that creates the see the baby is born. Okay, father and mother are definitely the parents of the child. But who is beyond all that? Who is the greatest force who has made that happen? It's the Lord. This combination of material nature and the living entity is made possible by the Supreme God himself. Everywhere God, without God, nothing can happen. The Mahatattva, what is Mahatattva? Is a total cause of the total cosmic manifestation. It is a total material substance present in the in spiritual sky. Okay, entire thing. That's where you can say it's a kshetra. It's a kshetra where the Lord is going to impregnate now. The innumerable universes, the Brahmandas, are formed by the impregnation of the total substance by the Supreme Lord. How are the Brahmandas formed? So we know that from Krishna, 2 Vishnu forms arise. Karnodakasai Vishnu and the Garbhodakasai Vishnu. And Kshirodakasai will come later. Okay. The first incarnation is Karnodakasai Vishnu. Okay. Now what does he do? From the pores of his body, innumerable universes come out. Okay. Now they are called as the Hiranyagarbha. They come out. Each one has got a Garbhodakasai Vishnu. Okay. Now from the navel of the Garbhodakasai Vishnu arises Brahma. There's actually lotus stalk arising from the navel, and the top of it is Brahma. So these universes are formed by the impregnation of the total substance by the Supreme Lord. Who is that Supreme Lord? Karnodakasai Vishnu. Okay. The total material substance with the 3 modes of nature is called Brahman. They are unchangeable. Okay. According to Upanishad, it is actually called Brahman. Tasmad etat Brahma Nama Rupa Annam cha jayate. The Supreme Person impregnates that Brahman with the seeds of the living entities. And that to how? Just a glance. He looks at it, finished. Living entities are actually sown there. The 24 elements, we know what they are now: earth, water, fire, air, ether, and all the senses, the working senses, and then the sense objects, all of them. Totally it comes to 24. 24, beginning from earth, water, fire, and air, ether, are all material energy. They're all material. I told you an example I gave. In our body, we have earth, water, fire, air, and ether. I told you where is what. Now earth we compare to the muscles and bones of our body. Water in the form of blood and lymph in the body. They're liquids. Fire, Jataragni, the fire in the stomach. That is the hunger. Air around the lungs and the heart. You have you've got pericardial, peripleural spaces, and they have got the air. Then ether is ether, present everywhere. Okay? Ether is not air; it is actually the air present outside in the cosmos, and they constitute what is called Mahad Brahma. They are called as a Mahad Brahma, okay, or the great Brahman, the material nature. Okay? That is what Lord actually impregnates. I made the detailed points for you all because you can, at leisure, you can read this, understand. If any doubts, you can always ask me. All living entities are born following the mixture of the material nature with the superior nature by the will of the Lord. So there are two natures here. Material nature is what? Mahatattva. That is the material substance, total material substance. Okay. And the supreme nature, superior nature is actually, that is the living entity. So, by the will of the Lord, who does it? Lord does it. So it is actually, there are two components, God and the material nature. God is the spiritual part. Material nature is the material part. Now together, they are going to create now, start the work of creation. And who is monitoring all this, moderating all this? The Supreme Lord. That is Krishna. Okay. What is a beautiful analogy is given here. Now you have your pile of rice. Okay. Moist rice. Okay. In especially villages, it happens, moist rice. And from there, one day you start seeing small scorpions coming out of the rice. You may think that the rice has given rise to the scorpions. It's not like that. See, without in the heap of the rice that you had kept there in the moist rice, there might have been a female scorpion. Okay. Now that had actually, there's one thing here biologically, scorpions do not lay eggs. Okay. Now scorpions are ovoviviparous. Actually, that's actually a scientific biological phenomenon. See, viviparous are we human beings, where we give rise to young ones which resemble us. But there's one phenomenon in the animal world called as ovoviviparity. There, the mother, the female animal, she lays eggs within her own body, and from inside the body, the eggs hatch, and when they come out, they're young ones, they're young scorpions, or what? Especially scorpions are actually ovoviviparous. So whatever it is, from the heap of rice, the scorpions are coming out. You may think the rice has given rise to scorpions, but that is not true. It's actually, there was a female scorpion there. Now, because of her, the mother scorpion, these young scorpions have come out. So without cause, there cannot be anything. So you can't say something out of nothing, some life comes. It can't happen that way, okay? Similarly, material nature is not the cause of the birth of the living entities. Only material nature can do nothing. Now, what can rice do? Rice can't create the scorpions. There has to be a living force there. What is the living force there? The female scorpion. The seed is given by the Supreme Lord. That is actually the animal within. Living entities come out as products of material nature. So once the material nature, the inferior material nature reacts or combines with the superior spiritual nature, they give rise to living entities, and they come out as products. Okay. Every living entity, according to his past activities, has a different body. Now I have got, each one of us we have got our own bodies, and animals have got their own bodies. Dog has its body, cat has its body, elephant has its body, okay? Different bodies created by this material nature, so that the entity can enjoy or suffer according to his past deeds. There's one more thing here. Why did we get this body? We desired this. We have got it. Every living entity. Now, once we get it, we have to live like that. Once you are born as a dog, you have to behave like a dog only. You can't behave like an elephant, or you can't behave like a cat, or you can't behave like a human being. Is it not the same way? every living being has to behave the way its nature is there. Then along with that, there are associated with the dog, there are certain problems. It has to face it. Associated with the elephants, there are certain problems. With lions, every animal, name it, including man, there are certain associated problems. They have to undergo those problems. Okay, and this is a picture of the. I wanted to show Brahmanda. This is Karnataka Sai Vishnu. I think we'll make it a little enlarged, but we can see better. Yeah. Now this is. Wanted to show you what is Brahmanda. Yeah, here you can see these are the Hiranyagarbhas. There are so many, millions of them. This is one of them. And here we have Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. Then we have from his navel the lotus actually stem arising and the Brahma being actually born in the lotus. And around this is Mahatattva. And we have got here inside we have got the layers, which are here. See, here we got layers. They're from earth, water, fire, air, ether. And this whole thing is called one Brahmanda. So that's what such several. This is actually universe. They're universes. Sarva yonisho kaunteya murtaya sambhavantiya tasam brahma mahad yonir ajambija pradapita. It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed-giving father. Lord is the seed-giving father. Supreme Lord Krishna is the original father of all living entities. Everyone living today, actually living and all living, all of them, but then living definitely he is the father. The living entities are products of the material nature and the spiritual nature. Such living entities are seen not only on this planet. People say there's no life on this planet, other planets, no, there is life there on this planet, but on every planet, even on the highest, where Brahma, the Brahma Loka, Satya Loka, Jana Loka, there are living entities. They are within the earth, they are found within, see, the earth, we have got earthworms, we have got so many, and underground animals. In water, there are animals, life is there. In fire also, there are certain animals which can resist the high temperature. Like, there are certain bacteria which can resist very high temperature. So they can be present. So not that any arena is without living entities. All these appearances are due to the mother. That is a material. We call material nature the mother. She is my mother, Mother Earth. And Krishna's seed-giving process. Okay. And what is the conclusion of this? The material world is impregnated with living entities that come out in various forms at a time of creation according to their past deeds. There are so many forms here. See, we see a lion, the cow here, then there's a goat here, so many animals, there's crocodile here, there's so many animals are there. Now, for all of these, the life-giving father is Supreme Lord. Okay, that's what has been said here. The same again. I wanted to show you the different layers. That this is one Brahmanda. This is Brahma at the tip of the stem coming from the navel of Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. So from here actually, and this is Hare Krishna Mahamantra. I think when I show you the Goloka Vrindavana chart, you'll appreciate better. But this Mahamantra, you can see this something, a thread going up here, line going up. There's nothing but the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and that will take you to Goloka Vrindavana. I'll show you the chart, you can appreciate it better. Okay, these are different layers of the Brahmanda. Yeah. Now, the material nature is the mother, and this discussed enough. Now, 5 to 9 shlokas, they describe the binding of the pure soul by the 3 modes. Now we come to the focus of our chapter. Very interesting.
Mataji, can I read?
You read. Yes, read. Yeah.
Sattvam rajastama iti punaha prakriti sambhavaha nibandanti mahabaho dehe dehina avyayam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, beta. Material nature consists of 3 modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. When the living entity comes in contact with nature, he becomes conditioned by these modes. Okay, and these are this is the transcendental Satchitananda. Okay, now there's that is eternal living entity soul. We are actually we are transcendental. We are actually not contaminated when we are manifested actually. But once we come in contact with the modes of material nature, what happens? We develop 3 modes. What are they? Goodness, passion, and ignorance. Okay. And what happens later? The condition by the modes, a living entity is forced to act according to these modes. If we are in mode of goodness, we'll act in mode of goodness. In passion, passionate. In ignorance, ignorant. Okay. That's how we are influenced. Okay. Now, the 3 modes of material nature are the mode of goodness. What are the actions there? Pious actions. Very nice pious actions he performs. The mode of, we too, if you are in mode of goodness, we do all what we do is pious. The mode of passion, we perform we are over ambitious. Okay. In the mode of ignorance, we act as fools, ants. Okay. This is a very interesting explanation here. See, we too in the morning, just imagine, you try, all of you try to think of yourselves every day how it goes. See, we too, not that one single person is always in a particular mode throughout his life. Why throughout his life? Even in the same day, early morning, he will be in the mode of goodness. He'll be very fresh. We chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. If someone comes, we give them, we are so pleasant in the morning. No getting angry, nothing, absolutely. It's such a pleasure to see ourselves sometimes the way we behave. But as time passes, and those people, office goers, or they have to go and catch the train, they have got to catch the bus, or take the auto, then what happens? They don't get this out, or they start, slowly your mode changes. You get into mode of passion. Okay. Sometimes, someone comes and hits you, then you have to, you will not be very comfortable, you may say a word in return. So you're not in mode of goodness. If you can continue the mode of goodness even then, that's great, but it doesn't happen that way. In the office, so many things happen, your mood changes. Again, by evening, what happens? You're so tired, you're so tired. But again, in between, something might happen. Maybe you're returning from the office. And though you were having such a hectic day and such a horrible day in the office, with a lot of your passionate modes being shown there, you're returning, you see a blind person who wants to cross the road. Now, will you ignore that person? You will not. You will definitely, however worked up you are, you will definitely lend your helping hand to the person crossing the road. So now you're again mode of goodness. So in the mode of goodness in the morning, became passionate in the afternoon, now become again good. You return home. At home, you show all you're so tired, you're just terribly tired. You want to just sleep, eat something and go to bed. They're in the mode of ignorance. Okay, it's the same day we can exhibit different modes in the lifetime too. In the younger days, you might be some of the children. They will be very ignorant and they behave in their own ways. They will be either in mode of ignorance or passion. As they grow older, as wisdom dawns, they get into mode of goodness. Okay, so even in a lifetime, things can change. In a day, things can change, and with the people, things can change. Well, imagine 3 people. They're all traveling in a bus. Okay, now there are 3 seats in the bus. Now along one, I've only shown one picture. This is one lady who is actually she's reading a book. Actually, let us give all the 3 modes to the same person here. And let us suppose she's a very intellectual person. She's having a book in her hand. Okay. Now there's another person sitting on the other window in the same bus. Now he is actually listening to on the mobile, listening to a beautiful movie song, some romantic song is listening. Okay. And then the third person, again in the same bus, sitting along the window side, is just sleeping, dozing off, sleeping. Then what happens? Suddenly the driver puts the brake. Okay, the bus halts. Then all the 3 get a jerk and they see outside. Okay, even the sleeping person has woken now. Okay, but this lady, if she's an intellectual person reading, now she sees all the 3 see the same scene. They see this beautiful greenery here, a nice cozy house here, beautiful house here. All the 3 are saying the same scene. Okay. If she's an intellectual person, what she'll think is, oh, so nice, that house is beautiful. I wish I was able to go inside the house and in a corner of the house, sit and complete reading my book. She would think that way. Because the person who was listening to a romantic movie song on the mobile, the way he would think is, Oh, so nice. This house is very nice. I mean, I think the song I'm hearing, the shooting must have been done in a place similar to this, which are nice. He thinks in his enjoyment. I mean, he has sense gratification. He thinks that way. And the third person who's actually sleeping, he says, my goodness, I wish such a beautiful house it is, so much of greenery around. If I go there now, I can just go somewhere and sleep. He thinks of sleeping. So three different people seeing the same scene, they behave, they think differently. Again here, you see there's an accident here. On this side, there are so many people here. There are all the three modes. Some of them, as soon as the accident happens, they immediately come to help. They want to help the people inside. Okay, they are in a mode of goodness. Some of them, they're wondering, why did the accident happen? How did the other person, I mean, some of the vehicle would have hit and this has fallen here now. Oh, they start complaining, they're analyzing the things, They start actually, they don't go to help. They just analysis, logical thinking, just speculating things. They are in a mode of passion. And some of them are ignorant. They're somewhere back here. They're not bothered what has happened. They're not just unconcerned about it. They're in a mode of ignorance. So we can see the same scene can actually create different modes. This is what is called modes of nature, modes of material nature. So tatra sattvam nirmalatvat prakashakam anamayam sukha sangena badnati jnana sangena chanagha. In the mode of goodness, this is a mode of goodness. This is a mode of goodness. Okay. O sinless one, the mode of goodness being purer than the others is illuminating. It's so beautiful. It's enlightening. And it frees one from all sinful reactions. So obviously it is the sin is not incurred there. Actually, sins are lost there when you help. This boy is helping this boy with the clutches, and this young lady is helping the old lady with her bag. So they're very good things. Okay, those situated in the mode develop knowledge, but they become conditioned by the concept of happiness. Even that is not good. See, they do help and then later feel, oh, helped. I did a good thing today. They feel that they've done something great. When this boy feels, oh, helped a boy, he goes and tells home. And among the friends too, I helped him. You should not even feel happy that you helped someone. That is actually elating from the or transcending the mode of goodness. But we don't do it. What happens in mode of, see, pros and cons of mode of goodness in attaining liberation. See, you may be wondering that mode of goodness is so nice. And why don't we get liberation if we are in the mode of goodness? But there are pros and cons. What are they? The pros are there. He's wiser, definitely wiser. Not much affected by material miseries. Nothing will affect him. He's quite happy. Has a sense of advancement in knowledge, material and spiritual. If he's into Bhagavad Gita learning and Bhagavatam learning and all that, if he's proud, not exactly proud and not the right word, he's quite often, he feels he's doing something which others are not doing. So he's definitely superior to others. That sort of, it seeps in, that feeling seeps in, okay? And even the knowledge, in material knowledge or spiritual knowledge, someone is good at painting, someone is good at doll making or whatever, cooking. So why I'm a good cook, I cook well. That feeling comes in, that should not come. That's what Lord says. They're always happy because they do nothing bad, they're always happy. Free from sinful reactions with a pure illuminated life, they're compared to a Brahmana life. It's a Brahmana life, okay? But what are the cons of this? What is not good about it? He's conditioned to feel he's advanced in knowledge. He has knowledge and feels he has knowledge. He feels he's superior to others. Pride seeps in due to improved life. Obviously, when they're doing good things, earning well, their life is improved. They get a better standard of life and material possessions on material platform. They get a nice house, and they get a nice furniture, a nice car, everything is there. And slowly pride seeps in without their wanting. Now, whatever supposing such a person builds a big house, he says, it's not mine, Krishna's. Takes a big car, oh, it's not Krishna. I am using this car as Krishna's vehicle given to me. I'm staying in this house because Krishna graced it to me. Does he think that way? No. He thinks it is my earning, I bought this car. When my comes in, ego comes in, gone. You're defeated. Sometimes hankering for appreciation and praise may develop. Sometimes doing good things, given money to some organization, you feel, oh, they should appreciate what I've done. But they didn't mention my name, I had given so much of money. They didn't even mention my name in the donors. You feel bad about it. That's not good. You give, forget. But we don't do. We remember what we have done. Binding with the modes of goodness becomes a hurdle. Why? With no near hope of liberation. You're bound to goodness, no liberation. Okay? And and entry into spiritual world. You can't go into spiritual world if you're bound. So you have to transcend that. So whatever we do, say in Krishna consciousness. You donate money to someone, you say, it's not me, Krishna made me give that. It's Krishna, it's all Krishna. Krishnamaya, Jagat. Then fine, you are transcending it. Then you're going to get liberated. It doesn't happen. Keeping on changing, they have to, what do such people do? They have to keep on taking rebirth and dying. It keeps on happening. The illusion of the material energy keeps them happy, contented. What happiness that I just said here, always happy, is it not always happy? But happy is an illusion. It's not real happiness. Real happiness is when, you always, whatever you do, you say it's God who is doing it, not me. Naham karta, harik karta. Rajo ragatmakam vidhi, trishna sanga samudbhavam, tan nibadnati kaunteya, karma sangena dehinam. This is mode of passion fellow, always working like a donkey. He always wants to work for his family, for himself. Okay. The mode of passion is born of unlimited desires. He has unlimited desires. First of all, it starts with, in a boy and a girl, they come together, obviously, they get to form a family. When they're married, they get to form, that's how passion begins. Once you have a family, see brahmachari samsara. Alone, there was no problem. When they start as a family, things are wanted. They can't live like a sannyasi. They want a house, they want furniture, they want a vehicle. And then for that, you have to earn money. And you start slogging for that, and every means you take to earn money sometimes. So that's in mode of passion. These are unlimited desires. Maybe because of the wife or the children who are born, they want so many things for the father has to get them. And then ultimately, it's all miserable. Life is miserable. Working. And the happiness that they get immediately, father gets a nice gift for the child, gives it. The child is very happy. And father also is very, very happy. Seeing the child happy, the mother is happy. But how the father got that gift for the child, the father knows. If it's a very costly one, he knows what he had to do to get it. It's miserable. So this is what the passion does. Okay. The mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings. O son of Kunti, and because of this, one is bound to material fruitive activities. And what happens to this? How does passion begin? Begins with a mutual attraction between a man and a woman. Okay, ends up in marriage. Unlimited desires, and then hankering for sensual gratification. Wants everything on earth, everything in the mall. The child wants every toy in the shop. The child wants, and the father wants to satisfy the child. They don't put a break anywhere. They just go on giving whatever it wants, and for that, earning is required. Desire or sometimes demand for honor, and they normally do some good things also. They give money in donation and all that, but they expect honor, their name to be mentioned there. Recognition in society they want, social prestige they want, and they're family centric. My wife, my children, my house, everything, my mind. Okay, they're not living for the world. Okay, though not adequately God conscious, they do some philanthropic work. They do help hospitals, do help certain, all that they do, but they expect recognition. Working with the above goals, no question of getting liberated. There's no question of any, you can get liberated. No moksha here, entangled to birth and death. Okay, who are examples are mundane people, common people. Their actions are very, the results of their actions are very miserable. They won't be happy at all. This is Tamo Guna. You want to read this, Aradhya?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, read. Yeah.
तमस्त्वज्ञानजं विद्धि मोहनं सर्वदेहिनां प्रमादालस्य निद्राभिस्तन्निबध्नाति भारत. Hare Krishna.
Nice. Hare Krishna, beta. O son of Bharata, the mode of ignorance causes the delusion, becomes mad. He's yelling at someone. He becomes mad, indolent actually. Okay. Of all living entities, the result of this mode is madness. Okay. Indolence and sleep, which binds the conditioned soul. Okay? Deluded living entities dwell in darkness. They're deluded. Okay. So they are always in andhakara. Ignorant people are in darkness. What is it characterized by? Madness, indolence, and sleep, laziness, always lazy. Though they can work, they don't want to work. They want to always enjoy. That's all. Okay. Lack foresightedness. They never think, what about tomorrow? What about later in man? What am I going to become later? No future, no farsightedness at all. Okay. So they are actually relentlessly endeavor for money and material. Want money, material. They go on hoarding and no scope for any remembrance of God at all. Lack of spirituality, never think of Almighty at all. They lord over things. They think I am doing it. It's because of me. I have done it. Does not realize he is racing after the perishables. You are going to lose these things. Your house you're going to build. The moment you are not there, what's the of the house? Gone. Okay. Or there may be an earthquake. The house may fall. Or there may anything can happen. This is a perishable thing. Though it's a beautiful house you have constructed, but you don't realize it. Does not even consider life is ephemeral. Life is so short-lived. Human life is very short-lived, and especially Kali Yuga, very, very short-lived. You have to make the best use of it. The belongings are short-lived. Tsunami happened. People lost so much of, property, and then the relations too are short-lived. See, today a person is there, your relative is there, tomorrow is not there. Finished. It's gone. It's cut. They're addicted to intoxicants. They drink a lot, and they're not at all sane. Moods unstable, obviously. How can the moods be stable? No spirituality, always drinking, dejected, frustrated, and don't do things the right way. Do wrong things actually. Whatever he does, it is neither good for him nor for others. He is absolutely of no use at all. Actions are foolish actions. Animal cow killing will take them to hellish path. They don't know that. So actually, I'm sorry, due respects to people who are eating animal food, it is, I'm not saying it, it's in the Vedas, it is mentioned in the Vedic literature. The animal that you kill, when you are, just imagine the state of the animal, its mental status. I've seen certain scenes around my house. I used to feel so bad. They keep on yelling and people, they just try to, slaughter it, feel so bad. But I know before dying, what it says, okay, you're killing me today. Look, one day I will come back and I will kill you. So that is going to happen. So one day, if it's going to take rebirth and you're going to die at its hands, what is the good about eating that right now? What sort of pleasure for the tongue? And I don't think we should really encourage that. So then ignorant are degraded to birth in, and such people are born in animal community. They will never be, they're thrown down into the hellish planets. Okay, so eliminating, I think this we have discussed enough. Yeah, I think we can I'll just show you modes of goodness. They bind the living entities. Then examples of goodness. Now, how mode of goodness binds the living entities? It illuminates, actually frees from all sinful reactions, and we get a sense of happiness and knowledge. And the best examples are, of course, here of goodness. What causes scientist, philosopher, but this is these things you have to take with the carefully think and see. All scientists, all philosophers, all poets are not like that. There are exceptions. Okay, some are very, very philanthropic and all that. So let us take it with examples are given, but then you have to take it judiciously. Who are the representatives of goodness? You have Brahmana for goodness. Okay, and the three types. How the three types they condition the person. They make him happy. It is active, and the ignorant person, of course, helpless. Okay, this also we have done. I think we don't have to go into this. Enough has been. Yeah. Now, passion binds, that I said guna, no? By the ropes of desire and attachment. That's what, in attachment to family, desires. That is though that the ropes will attach him to the mode of passion, characterized by strong attraction between man and woman. Okay. Now, in modern civilization, it is mode of passion is very prevalent. Now, what are the products of mode of passion? Hankering, wants, honor, society. All this we have discussed. I think we can just pass on. What is it? There are no chance of liberation. There are very bleak chance of liberation. Now, here we come to the next 8. Now, how inorganic ignorance is here, minds, causes delusion for all embodied living souls, madness. Ignorance, just opposite of goodness. What are the characteristics? How is it manifested? Madness, sleep, then laziness, dejected, frustration, all that. They sleep for more than 12 hours. And in fact, there's a very nice chart in BG18. What time you get up, what time you sleep decides what mode of nature you have got. But sleeping at 9 o'clock in the night and getting up by, say, 4 o'clock in the morning, we're in the mode of goodness. We're sleeping very late in the night, getting up very late in the morning, we're in the mode of ignorance. And if in between that, you're in the mode of passion. So you have to decide where you stand actually. Even these people have no chance of liberation. Okay. Now, Sattvam Sukhe Sanjayati Raja Karmani Bharata Jnanam Avrityatu Tamaha Pramade Sanjayotyuta. This is the mode of goodness conditions 1 to happiness, passion conditions him to fruits of action, ignorance to madness. This also we have discussed enough of this, we can provide. Influence of the 3 modes of nature has not spared anyone. Even demigods are influenced by the modes of nature. Okay, a learned and illiterate. If a person may be learned or he may be illiterate, they are affected by the modes of material nature. Due to long bondage with material nature, they are bound to it. Rich and the poor, it has not spared the rich and the poor. Not that only rich have got modes and the poor don't have. Both have got the the effect of the modes of material nature. Wealth and poverty being creations of material nature. See, all of these, why are these people bound? See, due to long bondage with all of us are bound to material nature. That is the reason why we are bound by the ropes of the modes of material nature. A person in the mode of goodness is satisfied by his work or intellectual pursuit. That is a binding again. Okay. A man in the mode of passion is engaged in fruitive activity. That is a binding again. Okay. He owns as much as he can and spends or good. He does good things also, but he expects honor in return. That is a binding. When you expect something, it's a binding. You go to a marriage, you give some gift. Okay. Whatever you want. Forget it there. That's all. But don't expect anything in return. If you're expecting something in return, that's a binding. If I speak some nice words, I expect the other person to talk nicely to me. That's a binding. Don't expect anything from anyone. If you do that way, then there's no binding. If you expect something in terms of material or nice words or actions, it's a binding. So we should not be bound by these feelings. As the mode of ignorance covers knowledge, whatever one does is not good. Okay? Now from 10 to 13 shlokas, I think we can actually stop at 13 today because halfway through we are going. Let's see how much we can do. At 10. Yeah, you read, Papa. Yeah.
Rajastama chapi bhuya sattvam bhavati bharata rajah sattvam tamaschaiva
Tamasattvam.
tamaha sattvam rajastatha.
Nice.
Hare
Yeah.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, beta. Sometimes the mode of goodness becomes prominent, defeating the modes of passion and ignorance. Even in us too. Sometimes they're so good, that there is no scope for passion or ignorance. You want to help someone. Passion will not come in the way. Ignorance won't come in the way. You want to help them outright. You are going to help them. Okay. Vachana Bharata. Sometimes the mode of passion defeats goodness and ignorance. You're so passionate, you want to buy something. For instance, there's a competition and you have to, there's some, okay, let us say in a garment shop, there's a particular garment you have liked or a sari you have liked, and the other person also likes the same sari. Because you have liked it, you just pull it from towards yourself. And the other person wants to take it towards her or his side. Okay. So what happens is, see, if you're in a mode of goodness, okay, you want it, please take it. Thy need is greater. Do you say that? We don't say that. So what happened? That overpowers. You later feel very bad. You have liked it so much. What is the reason for the fight, the tug of war you had there? Because you liked it so much. Attachment to the whatever it is, maybe a garment or a good or whatever it is, it goods or whatever article. But if you had no attachment, you would have let go on and you would have had as the other person to take it, and the other person would say, no, you take it. So you say, you take it, you take it, you take it, and both have goodness, and there's no question of any misunderstanding. But that doesn't happen. So what happens? What has happened there? The mode of passion has defeated goodness and ignorance. Actually, you are good. You are not a bad person. It has defeated because of the liking. Why did the goodness get defeated there? Because you had attachment towards a particular article. That is a problem. And other times, ignorance defeats goodness and passion. You're so sleepy. You're so, you just don't want to get up, you're so lazy sometimes, you don't want to act in goodness at all. Then what happens? Goodness is defeated, passion is defeated. You are in the mode of ignorance. So at different times, different modes overpower and others are actually subdued. In this way, there is always competition of supremacy among the modes of nature. Variations in the modes of nature. Several times modes get displayed in varying proportions. This I've told you. I'll quickly read and pass on. Same day we have got different modes. Okay, one predominates over the other two. In the single day, dawn to dusk, we have different phases of modes. In the lifetime, different modes. Okay, in no certainty that even mode of goodness can grant liberation. We have to transcend that too. One has to transcend goodness too to reach the pure goodness, or that's called Vasudeva state. That's called as Vasudeva. What is Vasudeva state? In a transcending goodness also. So what it means, don't be affected or be sort of puffed up or feel elated, but whatever good you are doing too. You just say, oh, Krishna gave this thought to me, so I did it. So please always be in the alpha state. Don't expect, don't be a hyper and all that. If you're always in that particular stable state, it's called Vasudeva state. You're definitely there's chance of liberation. Now, 14.11. सर्वद्वारेषु देहेऽस्मिन् प्रकाश उपजायते ज्ञानं यदा तदा विद्यात् विवृद्धं सत्वं इत्युत. Now the reason, what is the reason for this? There are 9 gates in our body. Okay, there are many. Which are the 9 gates? We'll see. The goodness can be experienced, and all the gates of the body are illuminated by knowledge. What are those gates? We'll see here. There are 9 gates in the body: 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, mouth, genitals, and the anus. Okay. If all these gates are illuminated with knowledge, okay, you are in the mode of goodness. They'll be illuminated. There'll be actually enlightenment. Then you are always in the mode of goodness. Okay. All the gates are illuminated by the symptoms of goodness, showing symptoms of happiness. Simple. See, if all of these, how do you may ask me a question? How do you identify that they're illuminated? You should be healthy. See, you should not have, your ears should be fine, your eyes should be fine, and your nostrils should be fine, and all other organs should be perfect, then that means they're fine, they're healthy. So that shows sign of happiness. When are you happy? When all the parts are happy in the body. If there's some problem somewhere, it means there is some, they say actually in pranic healing, they say there are blockages, okay? And they clear the blocks, actually. It's a sort of healing, actually. So when the blocks are there, happiness will not be there. That's why you've got cold, cough, so many things are there. Then they go by the outer aura in the body, The aura is cleared. If you're having ear pain, around the ear, there'll be some aura. And that area is actually cleared with some, there are certain rituals, there are some utterances and all that. It's cleared out. And so you have to keep it block free. That is meaning of illuminated, okay? Illuminated, one can see, hear, and taste things rightly. Obviously, if your eyes are fine, you can see properly. If your ears are good, you can hear properly. If your tongue is fine, you can taste properly. If you have sickness in the body, how can you taste properly? Tell me. Your tongue will not be able to taste well. Okay, is it not? So if they're healthy, they can do that. That means they're illuminated. They're happy. They're fine, healthy. Becomes cleansed inside and outside. Lobha pravrittir arambah karmanam ashamah spraha ajjasetani jayante vivruddhe bharatarshapa. O chief of the Bharatas, when there is an increase in the mode of passion, symptoms of great attachment, uncontrollable desire, hankering, and intense endeavor develop. So that's actually the reason mode of passion. In the mode of passion, one is never satisfied with the position he has acquired. You can apply all these things to yourself and see in what mode you are. Are you satisfied always? Are you, with whatever you get? You just think about that. He hankers to increase it. You get a promotion, you get some amount of bonus and all that. You feel you're not happy with it. Oh, I wish I had got this. There's no end to it at all. Be happy with what you have got. Some don't get even that. We don't do that. But those who are contented with it are definitely not in the mode of passion. But those are not are in the mode of passion. He thinks he's going to live eternally in that house. Build a big house and thinks he's going to eternally. Is it possible? God forbid. Anything can happen and he can be no more. Houses, what's the use of that? It's a big house. Hankering for endless sense gratification, always wants to be attached to his family and enjoy, perennially, always enjoy. Aprakasho. You read. Yeah.
Aprakasho
Apravartischa.
Pramado moha evacha. Tama पश्येतानि जयन्ते निर्वृते कुरु नन्दन हरे कृष्ण
Hare Krishna. O son of Kuru, when there is an increase in the mode of ignorance, madness, illusion, inertia, and darkness are manifested. Okay. The mode of ignorance, there no illumination. No get is illuminated there. Obviously, no knowledge. They're absolutely ignorant. One does not work by regulative principle. There are no rules, regulations, no discipline. They sleep when they want, they get up when they want, do whatever, act whimsically. Does not work, though he has a capacity to do. He's capable. He will not be lazy fellow. He is always illusioned, always in illusion. Consciousness is there, but life is inactive. Ignorance. Okay. Now 14 to 18. Now actions and death within. What happens when what's the time now? It's I think after this we'll just stop, we'll take some questions. Now what happens at death to one predominated by a specific mode? We shall see that results of actions by one predominated by a specific mode. Okay, so I think we can stop here. We'll do the 14th shloka and then stop at that.
can I
You read. Yeah.
यदा सत्त्वे प्रवृद्धे तु प्रलयं याति देहभृत् तदोत्तमविदां लोकान् अमलान् प्रतिपद्यते हरे
Yes.
कृष्ण
Hare Krishna. When one dies in the mode of goodness, what happens? Yeah. He attains to pure higher planets of the great sages. Now all sages are here. They reach Janaloka, Satyaloka. They go to the highest planets when they die in the mode of goodness. Yes. One in goodness enjoys godly happiness, spiritual happiness in the higher planetary systems, the Brahmaloka or Janaloka, Satyaloka. They'll be there. Amalan means free from the modes of passion and ignorance. In mode of goodness, they have no passions the modes of passion and ignorance. The mode of goodness is the purest form of existence in the material world. There are different kinds of planets for different kinds of living entities. Those who die in the mode of goodness are elevated to the planets where great sages and devotees live. Now, are you all comfortable? Can we do till 8:30? Or shall we stop now? Meenakshi, what is a feeling?
Hare Krishna Mataji, it's 8:20.
Please stop.
If Mataji, tomorrow there will be like temple programs going on for Narsimha Jayanti.
Oh my
So-
goodness. And can we complete this today?
No, we can restart tomorrow, but today if it is up to 8:30, it is also good and enough for the devotees. I think.
No, what about classes tomorrow then? We won't have class
Tomorrow
tomorrow?
it will happen, Mataji. It will happen.
Then what time is
Somehow
temple
we
program?
can 5:30
program?
to 8:30, Mataji. 5:30 to 8:30.
30. Then
We
how
can start little late. We can start little late, 7:30 or 8. That's how we can do.
I don't
Mataji.
mind. I have no problem. I have no problem at all. Please ask the devotees if they're prepared to come at after the temple program.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
I'm prepared. I have no
devotees,
problem.
Please
Please,
unmute yourself and
Hare
please
Krishna.
convey. Yeah.
Yeah, 8 o'clock, 8:30, 8 or 8:30 tomorrow is fine with me.
For me, anything is okay. I'm even 12 o'clock in the night, I'm prepared to take. I have no problem at all. Okay. Only thing is you people have to come, that's important. So
Yeah.
you mean have a consensus and shall we 8 or 8:15 or 8:30? What time shall we meet?
We'll put a reminder for them what time it is preferable for them in the PV group. So accordingly, we can proceed the class tomorrow, Mataji, if it is
But how will I
possible.
come to know? How will I come to know?
I will intimate Mataji. I will intimate Mataji beforehand. By morning, before 12, we will get to know what time they were preferring the particular class for, and I will let you know, Mataji.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah.
Mhm.
Had I known, I would have completed the chapter. Could have started today earlier, or we could have. I wouldn't have. There's so many things which I did.
It came little late, Mataji, to us that the program will be starting at 5:30. So that's how. No,
Yeah.
no issues, Mataji. Hare
I think for the day you are all done, or you want me to continue? You tell me frankly, because I'll go on.
I think we are done for today. We can continue
Fine.
tomorrow.
We'll wind up. We'll wind up. Okay. Okay. We'll stop at 15. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Nandikoti Vaishnav Prabhupada ki jai. Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Hare Krishna. Stop recording and you can ask me questions.